You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about former Steelers and Buccaneer wide receiver Antonio Brown, a guy that, man, if he could have just kept it together a while longer, in fact, if he hadn't shot the deuce to everybody and rolled out of a Jets game when he played for the Buccaneers, I have long said Tom Brady would have won an 8th Super Bowl because you could tell they needed a guy that could move the chains in that championship game against the Rams, and he was not around anymore. But a guy that I also believe you look at his numbers, Antonio Brown's got Hall of Fame numbers. Whether or not he ever gets in there when you consider all the things involving character issues and blow-ups on the field, everything. By the way, Mike Tomlin and Antonio Brown got a history, right? The Killer Bees. Man, it's still amazing. Those Steelers teams did not win more. But, Brady was a thing. Manning was a thing back then, right? Antonio Brown is eyeing a case dismissal and using the stand your ground law as a defense because we know he pulled a gun and, he shot a guy. Former NFL star Antonio Brown filed a motion this week to dismiss the second-degree attempted murder charge against him in Miami based on Florida's, quote, stand your ground law. The motion was filed Monday but shared with ESPN by his lawyer, Mark Egerlarsh, on Saturday. The incident involved gunfire outside an amateur boxing match. Brown, 37, spent nearly 6 months in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, where he traveled after the incident, but before being extradited by U.S. Marshals. Shortly after he arrived in Miami last month, he pleaded not guilty and was arraigned. Quote, Brown's use of force, May 16, 2025, was fully justified, the motion read. Brown reasonably believed that the alleged victim intended to cause him serious harm. Richard L. Cooper, attorney for, I'm not even trying that name, Kwame Nantabu, labeled the defense motion a farcical reimaging. Okay. All right. Thanks, lawyer. Of what happened. The motion cited Florida's 2005 law that removed the, quote, duty to retreat before using, quote, deadly force in certain circumstances and provides immunity from prosecution. Brown faces up to 30 years in prison if convicted. Florida's most famous case related to stand your ground originated with the 2012 shooting of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman, the shooter, asserted self-defense in a trial on second-degree murder charges, which resulted in his acquittal in 2013. Zimmerman didn't directly invoke the law, but the judge instructions to the jury emphasized Florida's law fight versus retreat principles. Yeah, if I was going to move anywhere from Texas, it would most likely be to Florida. Neither state plays when it comes to defending yourself. Brown's motion described a history of violence from Nimbatu towards him, including a alleged jewelry theft incident in Dubai. Nantubob? Nah, to hell with it. Spent 30 days in jail in Dubai related to that incident, the motion says. In the May incident, the motion said Brown was trying to get in his car for safety after he was attacked, but the police said Brown punched Nantabu in the face and then, along with 2 others, continued the attack. Nantaboo walked away. According to police description of the security footage, Brown then, quote, chases him down and shoots him at point-blank range, according to the prosecutor. Police added that video from social media showed Brown with a gun in his hand near Nantaboo. My God. 2 gunshots followed. The guy ducked after the first shot was heard, police said. Monday's motion, which acknowledged Brown as the shooter, said he, quote, reasonably feared that Nantaboo was armed. Aggressive movement towards Brown. In that moment, Brown again reasonably feared for death or great bodily harm, the motion read. Brown then fired 2 warning shots, intentionally aiming away from Nantaboo to ensure he would not be struck. Brown also said Nantaboo took the weapon after a struggle and left with it. So maybe the guy did not get shot. I thought he actually got shot, but maybe he didn't. At a November hearing, Cooper asserted it was Brown's intention to kill Nantaboo. By the grace of God, he was not killed. Cooper said he believed Brown went to Dubai, thinking he couldn't be extradited, and was flaunting his presence there on social media. After he returned to Miami, Brown was released on a $25,000 bail, placed on house arrest with a GPS monitor. 12 seasons, all-pro wide receiver, last played for the Bucs, and spent most of his career with the Steelers. Wow. It's unbelievable. Man, Antonio Brown has had so many ups, downs. I mean, on Twitter, Antonio Brown is turned out to be hilarious. One of the best follows on Twitter that there is. You know? It's kind of strange. At times you're like, damn, he's based as hell. Other times you're like, he's crazy as hell. It's like, what do we know? Now, what I do know is many will go back to a hit, and he claims all the time, or he was claiming all the time, that he's got CTE. A lot of people would jokingly agree with that. Maybe not. Who knows, right? But everybody remembers Vontaze Burfict. And that hit that Antonio Brown took from Vontaze Burfict, and a lot of people said, Antonio Brown was never quite right after that hit, right? Who knows? This is going to be interesting to see if the stand your ground law will actually apply in this case, because it sounds to me like everything was done and over with, but then Brown came back with a gun, but I guess fired 2 warning shots, and then there was a struggle or a fight, and that was it. I could have swore he shot the guy in the leg. Maybe he didn't. It never just blatantly said he shot him. I'm trying to remember, because that was a story that both myself and John made multiple videos on, and it's been so long now, I can't really remember exactly. But nonetheless, there was a gun involved and multiple shots fired. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to keep following this and see how that goes. I wonder if they're going to have cameras inside the courtroom on this. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.